Hello, my name is Kent Field, and thank you for tuning into this YouTube channel, The Bible versus Opinions. God bless you in your search for the truth. While all people have opinions on many subjects, including the Bible and religion, not all opinions carry the same weight or value. For example, would you go to a plumber for his advice on brain surgery? Would you go to a mechanic for his advice on heart surgery? The point is, not all opinions carry the same weight or value on a particular subject. That's why I'm not offering you my mere opinion, but Bible answers alone. So here's the challenge. Are you open to learning beyond your current understanding and knowledge of the Bible? If so, then this channel is for you. If these studies have helped you to grow in your understanding of the Bible, or even life itself, please like and subscribe and share this channel with others so that they too may be challenged and grow in their understanding of the Scriptures.
Okay. Keep your eye on this. If this starts to...
Find this. Who's this?
That was him too.
Me. Oh, I had an extra copy, so when we're in, I just I filled that one.
Okay, so I'm just giving you that to go along with us. And we're now on, what was it, page 2, and we're into kinds of ailments. Okay, the kinds of ailments. Now again, we're studying the characteristics of New Testament miracles. Now in order to know those, what do you need to do?
Study the New Testament. Yeah.
Study the New Testament. Study the Bible and see what kind of miracles they did. There are miracles in the Old Testament as well as the New Testament. There was 3 young lads, I think they were 3, who yelled out to one of the prophets, Elijah or Elisha, I forget which one now, and they yelled out, "Baldy, baldy, 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 baldy." And he called the she-bear, a female bear, out of the woods, and he came, and the bear came and devoured all 3 kids.
Really?
Yeah. Let me pause this and let me see if I could find that for you. 3 she-bears.
Yeah, look at him getting in on his Bible study. For a ball and all.
Yeah, let's look at that. Elisha. It was because Elijah came first and then Elisha, right? Mm-hmm. So it is 2 Kings chapter 2, and that's why I tell people, you better not make fun of me with my bald head. 2 Kings chapter 2. And, no, it was Elijah, right, that came first, and then Elisha. Verse 23 says, "Then he," that's Elisha, "went up from there to Bethel. And as he was going up by the way, young lads came out from the city and mocked him and said, 'Go up, thou bald head! Go up, thou bald head!'" Baldy, baldy, baldy is that's what this, they put it in that King James kind of language, but that's the idea. "Get out of here, baldy." When he looked behind him and saw them, he cursed them in the name of the Lord. Then, that's what it was, 2 female bears came out of the woods and tore up 42 lads of their number. It wasn't just 3, it was 2 bears. I got all the numbers messed up. 2 bears tore up 42 punks. And he went up from there to Mount Carmel, and from there he returned to Samaria. Like, that's the end of that. Okay. I'm probably not even going to put this in the tape, except that when's the last time you heard of a miracle like that occurring in today's modern day miracles? by a preacher or somebody that they made fun of. I mean, if you're talking about miracles and to establish your power and to show your power that you are from God, there's many ways of doing it. One way may be healing somebody. Another way may be calling 2 bears out of the woods and killing 42 young lads. Now, these bears were upset. They didn't just stop at one kid after they killed him or ripped his throat open or disemboweled him. They went to... And the thing is, you know what? With bears, you can't outrun them. They run at least 35 miles an hour, and they can run. In fact, there are cases where bears have outrun a horse to catch them and to grab them with a rider on them, and they were trying to get away, and the bear got the horse and the rider. So bears are quick. Bears are very quick.
Yeah, the other day he says to me, he goes, if you ever have a bear encounter, don't run. You have to go after them. I'm like,
No. A brown bear, you lay down and play dead. A black bear, you fight back. It's your best chance. They're different in the way and the reason why they attack.
So you say a black bear?
Grizzly bear.
A black bear is more skittish.
No, I don't know if you say that. I don't know about that. I just know that you got to fight back if they attack you.
Yeah, grizzly bears are like they don't back down to nothing.
Grizzly bears, if you just play dead, a lot of times you'll get away with it. You lay down, you're not a threat anymore.
Yeah.
Where a black bear is going to try to make a meal out of you. Now, grizzlies will make a meal out of people. There was one guy that was a grizzly bear lover, and he was a famous guy, but he was crazy. And there's a tape of him, but his family won't release it, of him screaming for his life while he's being devoured. And they found parts of him in the bear after they killed the bear a little while later on. They found fragments of his skull and skin and all kinds of stuff in the bear's stomach. He ate him. But he was one of these guys that bears never attack for any bad reason, and he was out there talking to these bears all the time. And I mean, coming this close to them, how you doing? The next thing you know, it tore open his tent and ate him. One of the bears that was friendly. Because it's only friendly for a certain period of time and for a reason. Anyway, getting back to our study. Not all, as in 2 Kings chapter 2 and verses 23 and 24, not all miracles are favorable. They can be kind of negative. We'll see some of that later on, but let's look at this.
There's tons of examples of that.
There's tons of examples of
Especially in the
that.
Old Testament.
Especially in the Old
Person tried to
Testament.
study the ark, was struck dead. Lot's wife turned to salt. You know,
Right.
all kinds
There
of-
you go. Right. Exactly. So, very good. Matthew chapter 14, verse 32. What we're doing now is looking that most modern miracles concern physical ailments, sinus conditions and all kinds of stuff like that, and not over all aspects of nature. They don't involve aspects of nature, but we can see in the New Testament and during the ministry of Jesus, there were other kinds of miracles that involved nature itself, the weather, conditions around us. Look at Matthew 14, verse 32 says what?
And when they got into the boat, the wind stopped. And those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "You are certainly God's son."
Okay, this is the case of Jesus walking on the water during the big storm. Now, first off, was Jesus able to walk on the water?
Yeah.
They thought this got to be a ghost because he cried out. You know, the boat was already a stadia. That's how far. A station is about 600 feet from the land. So that's 2 football fields or 200 yards, right? Away from the beach. That's a pretty good distance. And in the fourth watch of the night, he came to them walking on the sea. So I want to see one of these faith healers, maybe that prophetic guy or somebody else. Give me that, please. Thank you. I'll just take it out of the way.
Chapter 4, verse.
Chapter 14, verse 32. So,
Well, verse 25 is where it is.
yeah, 25 I started. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were frightened. No kidding. It's a ghost! And they cried out with fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, Take courage, for it is I. Do not be afraid. No, he didn't say it like that. But Peter answered and said, Lord, if it's you, command me to come to you on the water. And he said, I believe, if it's you, I'll be able to walk on the water with you. Which is pretty good, a very good act of faith. And he said, come. And Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water, and he came toward Jesus. But seeing the wind, he got distracted by the things around him. See what faith, and that's a whole lesson. You could preach a whole sermon on that, can't you? That if you have great faith, even as a mustard seed, so you could move a mountain. You look around, you get distracted, you lose faith. What happens? He looked around, and he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, Lord, save me! And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and took hold of him and said to him, O ye of little faith, why do you doubt? And when they got into the boat, the wind stopped. And those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, Certainly you are God's Son. So what kind of miracle was performed here?
Walking on water.
Walking on the water, calming the sea. Because it was rough. In the verses earlier, it was a windy, stormy time. So it wasn't one of these times that there's an atheist, I think it was H.G. Wells or Will Durant, one of them said, well, yes, he talks about the walking on the water incident, which is only recorded in the New Testament. But then he says, but Jesus didn't really walk on the water. A fisherman's shack blew it down in the storm, and he body surfed or surfed out on the door to the fishing boat. But that doesn't. Now you ask him, where did you get that? From what historical document? Well, you can't trust this. I said, but that's the only source material that gives you the right to talk about a walking on the water in the first place. Then you devote 2, 3, 4 pages of your writing to the incident, trying to explain it away. But the only document you have to refer to the incident anyway is what? The New Testament. So thus you discredit your only source material that gives you the right to talk about it in the first place. You're an imbecile. You're an imbecile. It's one of my favorite words.
It's one of my favorite words.
So, the sea was calmed, and over a period of time, right? It calmed down, they got in the boat, everything's good. Have you ever witnessed or verified modern miracle like that? Anybody walking on water? Well, I have seen walking on water. What they do is they put these glass, Lexan, tempered glass or whatever it is, just below the surface of a pool. A very still, calm pool. And then they show the person walking on it. And it looks like they're walking on water. Splash, splash, splash. It's only about that deep below and then the glass is there. Then it's a pool. And you don't show you don't see the stands that they're walking on. And they just show you a quick clip of them walking on this thing. Walking on water. That doesn't explain Peter. That doesn't explain why he sank. And how Jesus was able to still pull him up and then they both walk in the boat. See? So, but regardless, if you believe in the miraculous, why not that kind of a miracle? Why healing of a sinus condition? Or deafness in one ear? Or a cancer? Oh yeah. Or one person I know that says, my brain split in half. And then God miraculously put it back together. And I say, I don't think so. I don't think so. Matthew chapter 12. And verses 10 through 13. That was the case of the withered hand, right?
Yeah.
A withered limb. So that's the case of Matthew chapter 12, where it says there was a man with a withered limb. That's from birth. You've seen those persons with that. And he says, stretch out your hand, and it became whole like the other one. He's ready to play the guitar. So the question is, what kind of miracle was performed here?
They're coming from my part.
What?
No, the kids are close to school.
It was the restoration of a withered limb. And was it immediate or a period over time that this would happen?
Immediate.
It was immediate, right? Did the weather come over a period of time? Or was it immediate?
It's immediate.
Okay. Matthew 21, verse 19. See, people don't read their Bible, or they don't remember what they've read enough to when somebody does something and claims something that they don't challenge them.
Which chapter?
Matthew 21, verse 19. Well, we'll look at verse 18. Now in the morning, when he returned to the city, he became hungry. And seeing a lone fig tree by the road, he came to it and found nothing on it except leaves only. See, when you have the leaves, the figs start coming with the figs on a fig tree. And so it was making a promise of fruit, but it didn't deliver. That's another sermon, by the way. Promising to have all the look of bearing fruit, and you're going to bear fruit, but you don't deliver. And he said to it, no longer shall there ever be any fruit from you. And at once, immediately, straightway, I think the Mark will say later on, immediately, at once, the fig tree withered. And seeing this, the disciples marveled, saying, how did the fig tree wither immediately? Just shriveled up. Again, how many of these faith healers and everybody else out there doing miracles do that? Wither fig trees. Walk on the water.
And that's also in Luke 7 to 9.
Yep. It's in Luke 7. What chapter?
Chapter 13, 7 to 9.
Okay.
Actually, 6 to 9.
Luke chapter what? 17.
Luke chapter 13, 6 to 9.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Let me just look at that. Nope. That's a different instance. That's a different account. That's talking about something else.
But it's the same.
It's not the same fig tree.
Oh, okay.
No. He was saying to take it down, and he's talking in a parable there. This is the parallel to that, I believe, is in Luke 17.
Let's see. Luke 13, 6 6 through 9 is
That's just the marginal.
cited.
I know, but it's not the case. It's not the one. Okay. Yeah, it's not in the parallel, that one. Now, what kind of miracle was performed here? He withered a fig tree. How long did it take for the tree to wither?
It's,
Like 4 or 5 days or a month they came back and it was withered? Or somebody came at night and poured gasoline around the soil so it would wither up? You see that? It happened. When? Well, it took about a week. Oh, yeah, of course. If you put, what's it called, that stuff? Like Agent Orange on it. Have you ever seen a miracle like that? No? Okay. Matthew 15, verses 36 through 38. (36 through 38). This is the feeding of the 4,000 rather. Where can we get enough loaves? Verse 33. In a deserted place to satisfy such a great multitude. Jesus said to them, how many loaves do you have? And they said 7, and a few small fish. And he directed the multitude to sit down on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves and the fish, and giving thanks, he broke them and started giving them to the disciples. And the disciples in turn to the multitudes. And they all ate and were satisfied. You see, that's because even if it's just a crumb from Jesus, it's satisfying. No, he's not talking about crumbs here. From the text. Well, it doesn't say how could that happen? It's called a miracle. Where when he broke it, he just kept multiplying it. How do you know that? Because the text that gives you the right to talk about this in the first place says so, if you just keep reading.
and that's not a one-off occurrence. That happens a couple times.
Right.
That confused me the first time I was reading. I'm like, wait, I thought this happened before that. And it turns out it's just happened
Twice.
many times.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
And they all ate and were satisfied. Verse 37, and they picked up what was left over of the broken pieces. 7 full baskets. And those who ate were 4,000 men besides the women and children. 4,000 men besides the women and children. So you're talking way over 4,000.
Way over 8,000.
Probably, or less, well, whatever. Fine. If you want to double, it's 8. If you wanted to say there weren't how many, you don't know how many women and children were there. Okay, fine. 4. Or a few more. 4,500, 5,000.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because they had 7 full baskets left over of crumbs. That's not, well, even a little crumb from Jesus makes you feel satisfied. I've heard a priest preach that.
But even if that were true, that would still be a miracle. So, like, what is the difference?
But what they're doing is they're explaining away the fact that Jesus multiplied the fishes and the loaves. What, if they satisfied with a little crumb?
Yeah, and then you were just full and you weren't hungry anymore? That would still be a miracle.
Yeah, but people could claim that's subjective at that point. That is subjective.
Yeah, I suppose.
Feeling satisfied is a subjective thing. Sometimes I'm full with a hamburger, sometimes I'm looking.
Thanks for being a part of that study segment. I promise you that, Lord willing, there's more to come. With the understanding that the mind can only absorb what the seat can endure, many of these studies have been broken up into a series of bite-sized segments. So be sure to look for the next segment in each Bible study subject, so you won't miss out on any important information. Please like and subscribe if you feel that this lesson's helped you, and God bless you in your search for truth.